Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third in the series of How Much Did They Make? The game show for game developers, where we look through some of the craziest Steam games available and ask how much money did they actually make? Now, as previously mentioned, we do not know the exact amount, but our formula is incredibly accurate. Now, a very special episode today because this was planning to go out around Valentine's Day. So this is our especially romantic episode for you all. And today's contestants, player number one, the Casanova of coding, we have Chris Payne.
Oh.
And player number two, our very own foppish boy band member, the adorable Adam Boyle.
Hello.
So welcome. Right, so I will go over the rules just quickly for you all.
Thank you.
We will have, in the first round, we will have a description of 6 different games. Now, each of you will hear the same description, and then you have the chance to make your guess at how much you think these developers went away with, the money they actually made on Steam. Now, bear that in mind because I have no record of how much they might have made on other systems. So we're purely concentrating on the Steam here. And then one by one, you'll both make your guess, and the person who's the closest will win a point. Now, you all have one of these games made more money than all of the other games combined. Now, that is going to be our big hitter. So, in order to, if you can predict once before we actually tell you how much money they've made, you can predict once which one's the big hitter. And if you get it right, you will get double points for that round. Okay, does that all make sense?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Brilliant. Chris, you on board?
Certainly am.
Okay, so and these are all love-themed games, so it may get a bit raunchy. Okay. Right, guys, so game number one, Kissing Simulator by Calvasilla Games. Gentlemen, prepare your wallets. This is what you've dreamed for decades. This is what humanity was waiting for since the very beginning of its history. From the times of cavemen, and particularly since movies about futurism. So let me announce officially, the future is here. This is a virtual girlfriend simulator. A simulator of kissing a digital kiss robot. There is a cute sweetheart, emo-like or Amy-like girl waiting for you. Everything is done at the highest level. Graceful synchronization of animations, high quality graphics, cuteness. 3 levels, 5 girl skins, and hair color customization. Top reviewer Indomitable Weak Owl said,
I have learned powers beyond your understanding.
Kissing Simulator by Calvasilla Games. Okay, it's probably a little hard to understand, but he said, I have learned powers beyond your imagination. Now, what I've left out on this is it is a VR game.
Oh, God.
I kind of assumed that. Oh, that's so cringe.
So, Chris, let's start with you. What's your thoughts?
Well, important questions. What if you want to kiss a guy?
You can't.
You can't.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, that's so immediately limiting their market there.
Yeah.
Right. And let's see. So VR game. There's certainly no shortage of weebs out there. So
What questions can we ask? Can we ask when it was released?
You can't really. No.
No. You
I'm
get
gonna-
nothing.
I'll volunteer
Was-
stuff that I think's funny.
Was it on the Was this on the Virtual Boy, or was this just?
This was This was not the Oculus Quest 2. This has not
Okay,
got through
okay,
Facebook
Right.
strenuous release thing.
Oh,
You shock me. Oh, I don't think it will have been hugely successful, so I'm gonna lowball it.
I'm sad that it's made any money, really. I'm not happy about this.
I'm gonna. Do we are we allowed to know what the price point is?
No.
We have to guess what
We have to guess the whole.
What would they guess?
This-
What would
this
they
is okay.
charge for
So-
that kind of immersive experience?
Well, you
I
have to. Okay, so this is primarily about. So you've got to look at the hook. Now, do you
Yeah.
think this is a strong enough hook? It's a unique hook. Right? I got to give it that. And it's.
Is it though?
Oh
I
god.
mean,
They're going for the one feature done well approach. I hope. I mean, so I'll lay out where I'm thinking at the minute. It's somebody who's clearly come up with the game first, and then gone. Let me see if I can slam this. This should make me something, and has slammed. My guess is they've searched an asset store, found a bunch of assets, slammed them together, and just gone and for one of a better expression, hoping players lean into it. And so based on that, and it's gonna look better than it is. I also think you got to factor in the Steam refund amount, because a lot of the people who would play this are people who would go, "This is terrible," and refund it. I'm gonna join Chris on the low ball. I'm gonna say, I don't want to go out. You know what? I'm
wait a
gonna say a
minute, Chris.
number.
Wait a second, Chris. Have you given us a number?
I haven't given a number. That it was because the same pitch will make very different amounts of money if priced at like $3 or $50. So, but not knowing the price point, I'm going to guess.
You have to imagine that these people have probably pitched it relatively. Most of these people have been sensibly pitching it. Well, actually, you've got no way of knowing.
We have no way of knowing. I'm going to imagine that they pitched it pretty low because they want that as an impulse purchase. It's not something that they want people to think too hard about. Let's see. So let's go for. I'm going to guess for about $5,000.
Okay, so
So-
5K.
So much
So
higher
low.
than I was going for. I was going for a number that I would be I would be happy if this. I'm happy with me saying that this makes this much. If it's made more, I'm sad about humanity, but I'm not sad about myself because I haven't predicted that humanity was better. I have a highest. I don't know why I've got a high estimate of humanity, but I do, and so I'm going to go for £500 and stick with it there.
500.
Okay.
Real low ball.
Okay, right. In that case, Kissing Simulator game made £2,860.
Oh, no, it's the other. Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. That's right on the middle.
It's right on the
Oh my
middle.
god, who's got? I can't.
No, so it'd be 2,750. So
I
it's you.
think that's
think.
you,
It's,
Chris.
I
Yeah.
think it's slightly on my side, but that's
Oh,
yeah.
right
Okay.
in between.
Okay.
I mean, I actually think there is like some therapeutic side to this. I mean, the game does look very, very sketchy. But say you had like a proper like fear and you needed to prep, it might be useful to some people.
I think there's a way of doing a game like that I think could, there are games in that kind of area that work, but I think you've got to be someone who's going into it going, we are going to be the kissing simulator. We've got everyone is covered and catered for. We're going to do it properly and professionally, and it's going to come in like that. The description does not suggest that these were the people who came in with that mentality.
I've got to say that for like Kissing Simulator, there is a haptic component that you are going to really miss. which I think is going to undercut the quality of the experience.
I'm only saying this once, and that's well. If you hold the controller to your mouth and it vibrates, that might.
Oh, no.
Go, move on.
Remind me not to play games at your house.
I just have this memory of playing VR and like waggling around like people that you're holding and stuff like that. And just imagining that being on your face.
Let's get away. I really hope we go up from here, but let's get on to the next game. Get us away from this one. And it's
really,
$2,500.
I'm really interested. I really want to play the game and see how it actually works. I'm just living in fear that my partner would find out what I'm doing.
Oh, no.
Oh, nope.
She might appreciate it.
Oh, no.
Okay, so that's 1 point to Chris. Right. Game number 2, Mount Your Friends by Stegosaurus Software Inc. Experience the extreme simulated sporting sensation that's sweeping our digital nation. Mount Your Friends is a fiercely competitive sporting event for you to play with your friends in the contextual security of your own home, assuming that your home is not composed of sexual innuendo. If it is, we may suggest buying a new home or at least getting a current one professionally cleaned. Mount Your Friends is a physics-based competitive climbing game where what you climb is each other. Players take turns climbing on top of the tower of the previous climbers, and a goat, working to become the new highest point before time runs out. Review by Stalwart Gemstone James. One moment you're fine with your sexuality. The next you're releasing the D button and latching onto the boy's dangling pepperoni pendulum. I'm so confused. Mount Your Friends by Stegosaurus Software Inc.
That review is amazing.
So, Mount Your Friends by Stegosaurus Software Inc. Adam, do you want to start?
So it's a good title. We'll start there. That's a catchy title. It's a name. You know, it's selling what's happening in the game. Suggests it's, the review in that suggests it's got a multiplayer element. Sounds like the kind of game you get into and go, oh, actually this is interesting. Let me bring my friends in, which obviously that's going to bring up the sales. Kind of game people would review, again, bringing up the sales, and especially that kind of group silly physics element that you get in your Gang Beasts and your Fall Guys and that kind of thing, which I think is particularly an attractive offer right now. So I think this could be a good one. This could be a high one.
I think it could be high enough that I'm going to bring out my big hitter card right now.
Big hitter!
Yes.
Oh, brave, so early in the game.
I have heard of Mount Your Friends. I am aware that it is a sort of like fun physics, silliness, co-op game. The fact that I've heard of it suggests that it was at least reasonably successful. So I can't remember what it looked like though. But Adam's points are all solid. It sounds like there is a genuinely fun game in there with a bit of an edge. So let's see. Oh,
I was trying to be intentionally cagey and vague because I also have heard of this game and have a vague idea of its success, because I was hoping you would give your number and then I would tell you that I am also playing my big hit card. So that did not go to plan. But yes, I have, given where we started and that I have heard of this game, I know people who have bought this game and played this game. I know that it's done well enough that it's spread to mass market. How well it's done and how well it's done because coming from the indie sphere, I don't actually know. But I'm definitely playing my big hit because it'd be interesting if you go in terms of Valentine's-y. Well, I say Valentine's-y, mounting your friends, kind of Valentine's. In terms of those games, I don't know where to go bigger from here. So I'm definitely playing my big hitter. And then in terms of a number, just trying to think now. This is the question. Well, Chris went first last time, so I should do the honorable thing and go first this time. I'm gonna go in. I lowballed it last time and just undercut myself. So I'm gonna highball it a little bit and hope that if it's monumental, that I'm closer, and if it's less, it's still close. I'm gonna go in at 100,000, and that's gonna be my number.
Okay.
100,000 from Adam.
I'm gonna go a bit higher than that. I think I'm gonna go for 250,000. I think it could have been quite a big hit.
I genuinely thought you were going to say 101,000 then, and I was going to leave. That was it. It's been over.
It makes the math simpler.
Well, to be fair, that would have been a sensible thing. If I thought it was more, I should always go like $1 more than Adam, and then I've covered all my bases. I'll be closer.
We're honorable, but we're being honorable. Don't change, please.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Game designer, I'm gonna metagame it.
Are you using your big hitter?
Yep. Can we both use our big hitter? It's only fair since Adam went first that I guess that he should.
We'll both. But there's only one game that is the one, isn't there? Yeah. So if we're both committed, let's do it.
Yeah, you both cancel each other out either way, so it no longer matters.
Fair enough.
Okay, so let's find it. Mount Your Friends made £551,891.
That's a respectable revenue pool.
Yeah.
That is, wow.
Even more than I thought. I'm lowballing it. I'm going to have to overshoot now. Here we go.
Okay, so yeah, that does. So actually, no, it doesn't cancel it out, because that means that you've made 2 points on that. That means, Adam, you got some big catching up. It's 3-0 to Chris.
That makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about.
So I don't get. So I got the big hitter, but don't get the points. Oh, so brutal.
Yeah. Sorry, 0-0, still 0. Even I can do that maths. Yeah, I even think they might make more than this. I mean, it was.
It's a big game.
Yeah, I kind of thought people would get it, but I brought it so early in this one because I always stuck them towards the end, and I didn't want everyone to start thinking
Yeah.
It was always going to be like the last one. So.
You can't fool us.
Right. Okay. So we are on to number 3. Monster Hunting for Love made £1,509.
Well, we got that one.
Okay. Right. In that case, we're going to play this in opposite. What do you think the game is?
Yeah.
Nice recovery.
Monster Hunting
like
for
it.
Love. Okay.
It's a trick, and the person of you who is closest to what the
Gets
game
the
actually is
Oh my
going to win.
god. Okay. And I've got to go first.
Yes.
Okay. Monster Hunting for Love. Okay. Well, since there's a pretty clear kind of like parallel with Monster Hunter in the title there, I'm gonna imagine that it's some sort of open world game where you have to wander around finding monsters and then getting them to fall in love with you by showering them with things that they like.
Okay.
So that's my or possibly dressing up like that monster or something like that.
But,
That's
How would you acquire the costumes?
I imagine you might have to craft them.
Right. Out of what? Is it other
Oh wow. Oh, that's disturbing. Oh god. Yeah. So like what, wearing other monsters as a skin?
Yeah, so turn up wearing their family and then trying to seduce them.
That's an interesting thought. Now that you mentioned it, that makes me think it probably is, but I would guess that somehow you're having to presumably you have to kill things to get some resources to craft things to the target of your affections.
Right. Okay. So, Adam, what do you think this game might be? All you know is it made just over £1,000.
Monster hunting for love, right? Yeah. Okay. So playing the numbers game, or the reverse numbers game, as it would be, I feel like that's the kind of thing you would call a visual novel, but it lines up as well with the monster hunting side to some of the more elaborate visual novels where there's other elements to it. So I'm gonna go for sort of a top-down dungeon crawler with a visual novel element. So instead of fighting the monsters, either you fight them, but you have a charm option, or you are just straight up. When you meet a monster, it's more of a visual novel style, trying to charm them instead of hunting them. So sort of your top down Baldur's Gate style dungeon crawler with conversation elements instead of combat elements.
Okay.
I think that's probably a pretty good guess, actually. I think you might have this.
Well, let's see. No,
Let's play the description.
Game number 3, Monster Hunting for Love by Dire Wolf. Monsters deserve to find love in this world too, right? Sit down and have a talk with a variety of monsters that are only looking to have a good time. Play your cards right, and maybe you'll even go home with them. Who knows what will happen after that? Spend time with 7 different characters. Each one has their own unique quirks and personalities. There are plenty of options to explore, with multiple endings to be seen. Look around, find them all. The main character is veiled in mystery. Man, woman, gay, straight, hunter, lover, all, none. That's up to you. These characters have no preference either, so go on in and get whomever you want. Review by Dark Unicorn. Hands down the best monster-orientated dating simulator on Steam this year. Monster Hunting for Love by Direwolf.
I can't believe that neither of us went for a dating simulator. I just feel foolish now.
It's too on the nose.
I'm going to call it though. I think Adam's closer on this one.
Definitely Adam's closer, yeah. Visual novel elements.
Visual novel is the one. So go your first point, Adam.
Yes, claiming it back piece by piece.
I quite like that. I quite like it the other way around. It's like, okay.
It's kind of fun.
So let's see if I can get this around the right way this time. Okay, so Catch a Lover by Toxic Dog. Catch a Lover, a multiplayer game for 2 to 4 players, in which a husband returns home to find his wife in the arms of another man. Play as one of the 4 exciting characters: the husband who needs to catch the lover who needs to escape the house, and the wife who has to aid her lover whilst avoiding her husband's punches, and the husband's faithful dog who can lay smelly traps around the house. Review by Stephen J.A. My friend got beaten with a dildo by his husband whilst hiding in a closet. 1 out of 10. Catch a Lover by Toxic Dog. So, that's Catch a Lover.
Wow.
Did you hear that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's still processing.
I can't unhear it. That's the problem.
So, this is Adam first. So, Adam, what's your thoughts?
Oh, it's so many thoughts. It's an interesting one because it's got a good game mechanic sound to it. You know, the up to 4 people, each with a different role. I say 4 people, four people or animals, each with a different role, running around the house. They're all sort of goal orientated. I can see that being quite fun. I'm pulling on the fact that I haven't heard of it. It can't have done too well. But it's got a bit more of an edge to it than some of the earlier ones that we've heard. So it comes, as with anything, it comes down to the angles that we don't know, the networking and that kind of thing. And the review, it sounds like it's got a few quirks and interesting things to it. So I'm definitely thinking of going a bit higher. Well, I mean, I think I go a bit higher, and then remembering the fact that I've always lowballed, so I'm going to go even higher than that on this one to make sure that it's catching everything. I'll come in with a number now just to change the game a bit. I'm going to go straight in, and I'm going to say about 20,000. That's my guess. It's a high ball for an unknown game, but
okay.
I think it's got something to it.
Okay. I think you're right about the mechanically. It sounds sound. You've got an asymmetric multiplayer setup there. It sounds like it's got some sort of like comedy elements. It sounds like there's a bit of a sandbox element there where you can pick up different weapons and maybe I presume that there's a bunch of like hiding places and escape routes, like out of a window and down the drain pipe and stuff like that, and other such cliches. But I've got to say that I'm not a fan of the whole domestic violence angle, which makes me think that it's probably not been hugely successful. So I'm gonna massively lowball it and go for about 600 quid.
Right. Yeah, the domestic violence bit. I toned that bit down too. Okay, right. So let's see how much made. Catch a Lover by Toxic Dog made £27,252.
Wow.
So, I salute your estimation, Adam, but I despair for humanity.
And that was exactly how I felt about the first one.
Yeah.
You gotta give a number that you feel that you're happy. It's like, I want to believe in a better world. That's the number I'm giving.
This isn't about being aspirational, guys.
No, clearly.
We
know what sells.
What game developers have humanity anymore? We should know. We should know by now.
Do you want to eat till the end of the month?
It does highlight though, and especially interesting that and 2 things it highlights. One is that something that has a sound core loop, even just on a pitch level, and with there's some interest and some quirks, you could hear it there, will do better than other games but also that there is an element to games design when you've got to think about the ramifications of the mechanics that you build in, because the person who built it probably thought, oh, it's this is quite funny and but then actually if you think about it, it's like, yes, but what's the message that you're actually telling people if that's the game that people are playing? And that's probably not a great angle. So I hope it's one of those ones where the average player maybe doesn't see that and that kind of thing, but it's always good to reflect on and think about, is this the right kind of game? Because maybe, and you could easily be right, Chris, is that one of the reasons because there's a sound game there, and clearly it catches people. Maybe it could have done much better if it thought about sort of the message it was bringing across.
I don't know. I mean, it always within context. It looks a bit slapstick. It's the guy's like this big cop, and the dog's a bit silly, and he's got a taser. I don't know. I feel for them a bit. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, it's a dodgy area, but these are people.
It's a tricky choice. It's a tricky choice, isn't it? Whether the picking edgy an edgy theme for a game is actually sort of like beneficial in terms of like getting people to remember it and try it out, just because sort of like did they really go there, or whether you could sort of like give it a much more kind of like cheerful cartoony theme and it might have done better.
End of the day, I was going to like Dead by Daylight. play a serial killer in an asynchronous multiplayer that goes around, hooking people onto meat hooks and that kind of thing, and that game's made millions. So there's definitely a context aspect to it, and it's probably obviously we're just hearing descriptions, and probably if we saw it, you'd go, oh, it's taken, it doesn't take itself too seriously, it's in jest and that kind of thing. But yeah, so it's and end of the day, it made 27 grand. You can good job then. It's a difficult market it's always a difficult market to do it in. So yeah, fair play.
He's a good. It's a nice encapsulated sort of capsule of a scenario, because people say the reviews wanted more people playing it, but it's sort of, you've only really got one level, and I think they did very well for 27k for what it is. I think is well put together, a good thing. If you agree with the premise or not, I think there's a lot worse out there.
And it got me a point, so I'm happy.
Okay, right. So we'll go on to the next one. Right. Game number 5. Bernie Needs Love by Protemus Multimedia. A retro platformer about an old man who collects blue pills amidst urban dangers and bird poop in a desperate effort to reach his girlfriend before he himself is reached by the ever-approaching Grim Reaper. Bernie Needs Love is, in essence, a simple but light-hearted platformer in which the player must guide Bernie, a nice but anguished old man chased by death, towards his girlfriend, while avoiding the many hazards of a poorly maintained yet beautiful city, and collecting blue love-enhancing pills to make the extra special night. A humorous portrayal of social and the media, where death and sexuality are usually quite one-dimensional. Bernie Needs Love also stands out from the crowd with its charming lo-fi graphics, lovingly composed chiptune music, and hardcore difficulty level, which are sure to satisfy players who grew up in the 8-bit era. Review by KOZ. Fun graphics, decent controls, difficult that at the point will test your ability not to throw things, and several pixelated ladies. It's like my childhood all over again. Bernie Needs Love by Protemus Multimedia. Okay, so Bernie Needs Love.
It's, I mean, obviously, the core game is a Maso Core pixel platformer, which is solid, but also massively over supported on Steam. There are thousands of them, so it's got to really shine to stand out. The theme, it sounds like it's not too smutty, but it does have a bit of a whiff of Custer's Revenge about it. So let's see. I'm gonna go for about 3,000, I reckon, because I think that it's competing with. There are an awful lot of really good pixel platformers out there, and I don't think that the edgy theme is going to lift it enough.
Yeah, this essentially lines up with what I was thinking, which is that it's the moment you hear platformer, it's unfortunate at the minute, but there are so many platformers at the minute. You've really got to do something special to put yourself apart, and the kind of narrative that they go with the chasing and that kind of thing, it has the capacity to cause people to bounce off it. The review was encouraging. Somebody played it and went, pretty decent, plays all right, not too bad. So you think it would do reasonably well, but it's hard to break out into space, especially when it sounds relatively standard in terms of, it's a platformer, pick these up, avoid those, get to the end, maybe a chase mechanic from behind it, but that's really about all. Now I was gonna well, I'm going to highball it a little bit, just because if I don't, then I know what happens. So I was coming into this thinking $5,000, and I'm going to stick with that and see where we end up. I'm going to go $5,000.
Okay. Bernie Needs Love by Protimus Multimedia made £1,748.
There you go.
Yeah, that's another point to Chris.
Yeah. The review
yeah.
didn't sway me, to be honest, because it's quite hard to like cock up a platformer. Mechanically, they're so, they're so. It's hard to make one that really shines like Celeste, but it's hard to like get it really badly wrong. So.
I think particularly what that highlights is that even in a space where you have a lot of these types of games, you have a lot of these types of games that are really good as well, not shining is enough to sort of to punish you. Even if the idea, there's some, it's solid and good, people going, oh, the music's good and the graphics are all right and that kind of thing. Unless you really stand out, it's going to be difficult for you to break apparently even the 2K mark.
Yeah, you guys were kind of spot on with this one. That's sort of exactly what it is. Thought it was slightly confused where he is in the sales pitch. It's all about how this is a take on society and and sort of like it's laying sort of social orders versus when it just looks like a silly platformer where instead of like coins you've got blue pills and instead of saving the princess, you're having a romantic evening. So yeah, well done, guys. Spot on. Right then. So this is the last one of the first round. So and then we're going to go to the quickfire round. So here we go, guys. Game number 6. Paper Shakespeare's Love's Labour's Lost by Stegosaurus Game Development. Hear ye, the royal court is going on a 3-year expedition to study ruins of ancient importance. The king and his fellow diggers have sworn off any romantic entanglements, lest you end up in the stocks. What happens when stick figures based on Shakespeare fall in love? Let's find out. Loosely based on Shakespeare's Love's Labour's Lost, you play as some cool archaeologists forsaking love to explore some awesome ruins. A story-based adventure game where you determine the outcome of a stick figure's love life. Review by Transcendental Tartanzine. I must have got this in a bundle.
Love it. That's amazing.
I'm sorry.
That's a great review.
I shouldn't laugh.
Okay, so who's first this time?
I'm glad it's Adam.
Yeah. God, this is a tough one. So I'll tell you where I'm at. On the one hand, I really like the premise in terms of obviously Shakespeare is a rich area at the best of times, at the worst of times, and the idea of building it around Love Labour's Lost and sort of going into it, there should be a density of story, characters maybe you're familiar with, or at least a writer that there's going to be some quality there. And basically, given that it's sort of this sort of narrative exploration, that should be really good and gain a lot of interest. But the stickmen side of it really makes me question how well it's delivered, because I can see it being done. And the thing is, it's because especially because it's a narrative-based game, it's going to rely almost entirely on the graphical delivery, which is obviously the thing we can't see. So if they've delivered an artistic interpretation of stickmen that sort of to use it as sort of a foil to the strength of the narrative, then this could have been really successful. But if it's MS Paint stickmen with a vague Shakespeare twist, this could have made almost nothing. Now, deciding between those two, and although it failed me last time, it's not highballing has failed me 4 or 5 times. So I'm gonna have to. What was the name of the developer?
Stegosaurus Game Development.
I mean, they sound pretty legit. I'm not gonna lie. That's the kind of indie dev name that I like to hear. I'm gonna highball it. I'm not gonna highball it too high because Stickmen is not doing me. I'm gonna go 10 grand. That's where I'm gonna leave it at and see where we go from there.
10 grand. Okay. So, Chris, what are you thinking?
Okay, I mean, I broadly agree with Adam. I like the idea of basing games on Shakespeare. It's a rich seam of narrative and interesting characters. I've got to admit, I'm not familiar with Love's Labour's Lost, but yeah, the whole stick figure thing is a little bit confusing because it does kind of suggest that they've gone for a deliberately lo-fi graphical style, and I think that means that everything hinges on the writing. Because I'm fairly certain if they've gone for that sort of lo-fi graphical style, they're probably not going to have voice acting in it. So it's going to stand or fall on whether they either mimic or pastiche Shakespeare in a suitable fashion. So I'm not, from the description, I'm not even certain what the genre is either. I'm going to guess it's a sort of point and click adventure / visual novel sort of thing, but I'm gonna lowball it at again about. I'm gonna go for about 400 quid. That's
okay.
See,
Right.
that's a bit harsh, I'm afraid, but
No problem. Okay, here we go. Paper Shakespeare Love's Labour's Lost by Stegosaurus Game Development made £317.82.
see,
It's such a shame.
it is such a shame because I'm sure it was no less work to make the game than any of the others that we've discussed, and it's just frustrating how 90% of everything on Steam makes that sort of money. And it's really disappointing because, people, even stuff like that doesn't do that well. Somebody will have worked really hard making like all their little character arcs in that, and, picking stick figures because sort of like that's what they felt that they could deliver, and leaning into that choice. And yeah, it's such a shame. Maybe port it to Switch.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because I don't know how good. To me, it's sort of interesting to see who it is. It looks like a singular developer because you're right. It is sort of MS Paint, but they've produced. This isn't the only one in the series. They produced a number of them. Now, they're clearly not selling very much, and they're clearly not worth very much. So it seems to be like a passion project of a very small sort of like where they're exploring different Shakespeare and stuff. So I think it's possibly quite interesting game. But yeah, the stick figures and the artwork really doesn't reassure you very much.
And yeah, this links into, I think one of the things is that it links into something that we said before, is that a premise can. It throws us off because it's going, this sounds good. This sounds like the kind of game that people could play, but it's about the execution. And it's like, if somebody came to me and said, oh, have you seen the game? It's about sort of an exploration of loosely based on Shakespeare, about these characters, and they're sort of having to deal with a work-life balance and how they explore romantic relationships in sort of the Elizabethan era. I go, oh, that sounds awesome. And they go, it's all stick men. I go, that doesn't sound awesome anymore. And that's the problem, is that I can see sort of a pixel or a lo-fi or a something aesthetic working for that, because it's that contrast between Elizabethan, very grand, very all these colors and things, and that lo-fi aesthetic. But if it's just MS Paint and there's no, I mean, I don't know, but if there's no sound or music or voiceover, and it's just the story alone isn't enough to carry the game, and which is why it's important to really make sure you're balancing all those areas together to get something that's a good premise and then sell it to the people.
Yeah.
If they'd just done pixel art, I think they would have. I mean,
yeah,
people like pixel art. I think it's one of those things where sort of like you can do you can do pixel art and sell that as a deliberate style choice, or you can do visual novels, which is mostly just sort of like still character portraits with a few different expressions if you're lucky. And that's also a choice. And a lot of visual novels have got absolutely gorgeous character portraits. But I think the difficulty is that Stickmen doesn't really, even if it's pitched as a unique feature, it is unique, but it's not actually appealing because it's hard to imagine becoming engaged with stick figures. So I guess that that's the pitch, isn't it? Is this game is going to make you care about stick figures. But I think that's a real hard sell.
Right, well, guys, so at the end of round 1, we have Chris in the lead with a fabulous 5 and Adam far behind on 2. However, I'll go into it more detail. Now we have the quickfire round. Now this involves me making sure that I turn it off because it's one track, this. And I have to pause it between the ones. So there is a high chance of me resetting it to the beginning or something crazy like that. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play them. I am then going to, so who was first this time? It was
Adam last time.
Adam was first. So it will go Chris, Adam, Chris, Adam. Sorry, Chris. All right. Okay. So it's going to go. So I'll say your name afterwards to say who it is, and I just want a number. Okay. So and then we're going to go quick fire through the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay. So right. So quick fire round. Let's go.
Paper Shakespeare loves labor.
Oops. Did we do the?
I guess that one.
1,000.
378. So go on.
Oh, we did the money, didn't we? So yeah. Okay. So here we go. Quick fire round. Game number 1. Kitty Powers Matchmaker. Kitty Powers Matchmaker is a hilarious dating simulator with a difference. Manage your own matchmaking agency with the guidance of your fabulous boss, drag queen diva Kitty Powers. Match an endless parade of desperate clients and candidates for Kitty's little black book and guide them through awkward conversations and dozens of perilous dating dilemmas. Chris, could I have a number?
250,000. I know it. It's very slick.
Adam.
100,000.
Kitty Powers Matchmakers made £105,456. It's just on Steam. It's on other things, so it's probably made. I think mobile was the big thing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, of course, Steam.
Game number 2. Love is Dead by Armor Game Studio. Being a zombie isn't easy. At least your love is a zombie too. Adventure together around a world and solve puzzles, evade ghosts, eat humans and fight pirates, who are also humans too, I guess, all to find your beloved pets. Love is Dead. Okay, Adam, you're first.
50,000. This sounds great.
Sounds absolutely bobbins.
Chris?
I'm going to go with 25,000.
Love is Dead made £11,600. So that's a point to you, Chris. Okay, next up. Game number 3, Cthulhu Saves the World by Zebedee Games. Lord of Insanity, Cthulhu was all up to plunge the world into insanity and destruction when his powers were sealed by a mysterious sorcerer. The only way to break him from this curse is to become a true hero, save the world to destroy an epic parody RPG, journey of redemption, insanity, and most of all, romance. Okay, Chris, you're up.
200,000.
200,000.
Oh, it had me to the last word and then it lost me completely. I'm gonna we'll go 75,000.
Cthulhu Saves the World made £252,347.
Oh my word.
Another point to Chris.
It was on Xbox first, I'm pretty sure.
Right, but this is just Steam, so that's doing well.
Jeez.
Game number 4, Yuna, Sugar Hearts and Love. Hello and welcome to Yuna's world. Help Yuna collect candy hearts and accompany her through the day. Candy hearts are an important currency in the world of Yuna. Get to know her better privately. Maybe you will even like each other. You like collecting achievements? You've come to the right place. Sorry, I thought I'd end it there.
It's all right,
I
don't
got
worry.
it.
Yeah.
Adam.
20,000.
Pardon?
Oh, 20,000.
20,000. Chris?
2,000.
2,000. Yuna, Sugar Hearts and Love made £476 and 73 pence.
That
They're like,
definitely
oh
does.
my god.
That
That
really
sounds
sounds
good.
like it's pitched as an achievement farm.
Oh.
Okay, right. So, game number 5, Love is in the Space by Elisa Wick. It is Valentine's Day, and just as you are about to start celebrating, your spaceship crash lands on an unknown planet. You get separated from your boyfriend in the crash and must now set off on a dangerous quest to find him. I think that's it. So, Chris, you're up first.
I'm not even sure what that is. I'm going to go for 5,000.
5,000. And Adam.
I'm going to go for 1,000.
Okay. Love is in the Space made nothing.
That's
really sad.
It is, but the way the description went, I was like, I was like, oh, and then as it went, I was like, ooh, there we go.
It does sound a little bit minimalist, that pitch.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Game number 6, Freezy by Nedo Studios. Freezy is a love story puzzle platformer. Kiss your girlfriend, but do not freeze her. To do this, you need to melt yourself on a red block. Beware of ice blocks, because they can kill you. Right, Adam, you're up
What
first.
even is that?
That's tough. 7,500.
Chris?
I'm going to go with 500.
Freezy made £13,666.
Ooh, not bad.
It's one of those ones where it's going to rely on the graphics, because if it's like a tight mobile style little puzzle game, like go here, avoid that, I could see it working. But equally, if it was just like the red blocks near me threw me off, because I was like, if it's just red and blue blocks, then it could be nothing. But yeah, ooh.
Yeah, that sounds like it's possibly like a good puzzler undermined by a poor pitch.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Again, you guys have really been on the ball for the whole one.
Mm.
Right, well, the big reveal now. Okay, so at the end of the game, we have Adam has a good 5 points, but storming ahead into the lead, we have Chris with 8 points.
Thank you.
Well done, Chris. Fantastic show. You were, you guys were quite spot on. Well done. I don't want to. You really nailed it. Cool. Right. Well,
That's
in
a
that
really
case,
fun, fun challenge. That.
Yeah, that was good fun. That was good.
well, we will have the semi-finals coming up soon. So I think Chris will be inviting you back, and Adam, I may ask you to do some voiceovers.
I'm down with that.
Okay, so
Fantastic.
bro, thanks a lot, guys, and I'll signing off. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Edward Bennett, and we've been from GameDev London. Please join our Discord channel or find us at gamedevlondon.dev. Adam's going to correct me.
GameDev.London.
GameDev.London. Join our Discord channel.
Thank you, Ed.
See you in a bit.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.